I'm Anna, and this is Laurent, and we're both designers, and we work for SAP, and we're going to talk today a little bit about SAP Splash and how we help people to design better experiences. But before I go into more details, I want to ask one question. Who here in this room would put SAP's design on the same level as like Airbnb's or Uber's design? Hands up. I see one hand. That's good. 2 hands. Okay, so this is actually a good start because I will talk a little bit about our journey. SAP wasn't really known for user experience or great design. And even today, maybe not. I just saw 2 hands. And we really want to change that perception. So everything started 2004 when Hasse Plattner, our co-founder, introduced design thinking to SAP. We had a little team, a design service team, that was mainly doing broad level projects. And we would use design thinking. We would really start with like understanding the problem. And then we went on a long journey and made it accessible for other employees. So we upskilled our employees in design so that they can sprout the design culture. And then around 2010, the design services team kind of created like that. We created the App House. And we had the App House was a kind of startup-like environment in a big company. We had our little office in Los Altos off campus and not on the SAP campus. And we did a lot of consumer-grade applications. We worked with the 49ers, the Sharks, healthcare, fashion. We did all kinds of consumer-grade apps. And then we opened more and more app houses around the world, Bangalore, in Ireland, in Germany, everywhere. And we gave the designers and non-designers, product managers and developers that space to create great user experience. And then starting with that, we thought, okay, now let's introduce that into enterprise. How can we have consumer-grade user experience for enterprise? And what SAP came up with is the Fiori, what we call Fiori, which, by the way, won the Red Dot Award this year. So, and now, 2015, we want to scale user experience within SAP, but also outside of SAP. And how we do that, we're going to show you a short video so you get a better idea.
In this day and age, the user is in charge. They're the ones calling the shots, so it's vital that they are the focus when building products. The importance of user experience has never been so clear. It's user experience that keeps businesses relevant. So, how do you make sure that your own business stays relevant? By designing for the user, of course. Unfortunately, you've probably already realized that there just aren't enough designers to allow you to keep up. You've tried bringing in design agencies, but it's extremely expensive and impossible to scale. At SAP, we've been on a decade-long journey to bring a user-centered, design-led approach to our enterprise software. We understand how to help you make this transition. Meet Emma. Emma is a business expert who works for Toyland Company. Emma has been tasked with creating a product catalog app. Splash makes it easy enough for Emma to create applications that make her end users super happy. Curious about learning useful tips to design awesome apps, Emma is invited to take advantage of the bite-sized method cards. She's excited to try out the actionable tips on how to hand sketch a prototype. Emma whiteboards the screens with her team and then takes photos. Splash offers integrated tools like Build that make it easy for Emma to import these photos into the tool. She quickly creates an interactive, low-fidelity prototype. Emma is able to learn a little while doing a little. Next, using the feedback tool with just a few clicks, she validates this prototype with her end users. Emma wants her prototype to start looking similar to an actual app. She browses the gallery and discovers a higher fidelity reference prototype that she can use as a great starting point. She simply clones it and then builds upon the work already done. To ensure her prototype makes sense to her end users, Emma imports realistic data using just Excel. Emma conducts another round of validation and is now feeling more confident that she's addressing her users' needs effectively. She's now ready to hand over the prototype to her developers. Instead of giving them a large business requirement document, she hands them a working prototype with real UI code. Thanks to Splash, Emma is now able to design better experiences that make her end users super happy.
Okay, so that is SAP Splash, and that's how we help other people to design better experiences. now we want to talk a little bit more about our process, how we got there, how we got to that solution. And yeah, we're using design thinking. That's our mindset. We really started from the very beginning to first discover what is the problem and who are we dealing with? How does the space look like? And only then we go into the design phase and then develop and deploy the whole thing. So let me just go into the research that we did. And I just said that we started with a problem, and we had to reframe that problem a couple of times because this is pretty new in the industry, and we had a lot of assumptions, and we tested them. We tested and interviewed about like 50 people, different roles, IT specialists, product owners, business analysts, head of applications, all kinds of people to get to where we are. And we created a couple of personas, but we mainly focused on the business analyst here. And the business analyst, what we learned today, they're getting all the requirements, but they mostly have functional requirements, and they deal with a lot of problems. User come back and say it's like a horrible user experience, like they don't know how to use the software, and some of them, they might heard like design thinking or user-centric design, but they don't know how to apply this. So with SAP Splash, we've given them a little like guides and method cards. They can learn how to apply design thinking and really start to get to the ground of like, what is the problem of my users? So with the personas and the research, based on that, we started creating wireframes. We started very early with concept workshops and just paper and pencil, very easy, very basic. We validated our ideas, and then, after time, we bumped up the fidelity. But we really started with like half sheets and just scribbling our ideas on paper. We had the chance to really validate our ideas a couple of times with the users that we interviewed at the beginning, which I think is very helpful. And yeah, so once we came to a certain fidelity, the visual design team took over. They were involved, though, from the very beginning. It's not really handing over like a wall, the stuff. But then Laurent can talk a little bit about the story that we went through for branding and visual design.
Hi, everybody. So when it's come to a product, we really put the brand in the 3 layer of designs that we always believe in. So we start from the why. So why we're doing this, which is the mission, and then we go to the how we're doing this, which is the structure of the product, and then we go to the what, which is the user interface where your user will interact with. So we really believe that product is your brand. So it's not that you create a beautiful brand and your product becomes successful, but the product and the brand always work together and together successful. So everywhere on the user interface where the user interact with, we saw an opportunity to tell the story. So we look through a lot of inspirations, and we look at our past offer, and we see how can we push away from the the safe and standardized look that dominating the same product space. So we, just like the interaction design and the research process, we conduct a lot of the brainstorming sections to define the brand behavior, and we use some parameter to really capture the vague feeling, the abstract, and turn it to some solid and concrete personality. And then we also try to position ourselves, who are we in this picture and why we are doing this, and what is the value we can bring to our user, and how do we communicate this value to the user. So this is the picture of one of our brainstorming session where we have all the designer get on the floor, look through tech magazine and take our photos that they think that the look and feel will resonate with our audience. And when I set up this, because our building, we have mix of designer and business and PMs and development team. And when I set up this on the floor, people feel like, wow, this is like a playground, and people get to play with scissors and colors and Post-it notes. So it's also bring that kind of energy into the space. And here's some exploration of our logo and how we try to interpret our value and our core through form. So it's like, how you interpret dance, but this one with forms and colors and Pantone. And we eventually come up with a very elegant solutions, and it can stay as a logo type, or it can stay as a logo mark itself, and it's very easy to recognize. So we all know brand is not about just the beautiful look, right? It's about the detail, the attention that you put inside the design. And we study the emotion. We explore a lot of color option. We explore pastel, gradient, playful color, you can name it. And then also the challenge is how all the visual designer communicate this with the developer, right? You have to create a system. You have to have a system of gray color, what is the main dark color, what is the main white color, so that optimize the development process. And also we love, I think this is our obsession, that we love to craft every single icon, make it pixel aligned to make sure it's scale on PC, Apple, and all the mobile devices. And also this obsession of how do we time the bird into this picture 1 second after the screen show up. One of the fun part is when we create a gallery illustration, how we start, and then we explore and we perfecting it. One of our illustrator in-house, he was so excited that he take everybody in the team and he make it into an illustration and he put on the product. So I feel the insight got from here is if you develop a very strong, solid core for your brand at the beginning, every single designer in your team can take on the manifesto, they expand it and they scale that up, that if you do it alone, you never imagine. And we work hand in hand with interaction design development to make sure the whole product is consistent. And one of the things is because this is just beta and it's very early phase, so we have a limited resource. We had to bring the film productions in the house. So one of our early talent, they just take it on and ace it. So some of our team members here, they actually act in the movie and they just, fight out a different side of themselves. So if they don't do design, they can go, Hollywood or something. So let's meet the design talent behind this miracle, yeah?
And you can see there are a lot of faces up there, and that's just the design team. So with product management and developers and everyone, we're like 200 people. And we're globally distributed, Bangalore, Paris, Dublin, here, East Coast, the West Coast. And this is very challenging. This is very challenging if you're such a big team and that's globally distributed. But it was fun, definitely, and it was great.
So we'll share some more pictures of our process. This is Amir running a research section.
Yeah, so we're sharing the insights of the research, so kind of like a synthesized session. Then if we go to the next picture, we see, I talked before on the half sheets exercise where we just put ideas on paper and then we validate those.
So this is one of the brainstorming session that we were talking about. So we go through a lot of iterations, and every time we have a branding wall at work, and we have people come and vote for it. And then this is our pixel master. She always fix and align things and uncapitalized things make her go crazy. And this is our awesome cast in the video. And this is the behind the scenes of how the previous video you saw, how it was made. Very low budget, but very flexible, just communicate the brand in the most simplest way, but the most successful way. And another scene, we walk barefoot in the office too, and then, yeah. So I think the important of I think that so far as a successful, even though we have a long road to go, but the cultures and the team members and
yeah. We learned a lot because we also, we breathe and live design thinking, but putting that into educational artifacts, that was big thing. That was a big challenge, and we got through it, and I think everyone had fun. So we're glad to be here and talking to you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.